Hi everybody, it's Alexis. So I put a poll on Instagram the other day asking what my story time should be about. It's my first story time. I have a cold. I always have a cold in the winter. So I put a poll, worst experience, like the worst phase of my drug addiction, or the story about my son Timothy, and y'all picked drug addiction. Actually, it was drug addiction one. It was like 14 votes. Timothy had like 4. And then like 20 votes for drug addiction, 20 votes for Timothy. But I don't know if we should put out Timothy, his story out about Cass, and just how we are who we are today with Timothy. So I started getting heavily into drugs in 2015. I was 22, I believe. And from the beginning of 2015 to the end of 2015, I was the biggest junkie, and I hate using this word. I was the biggest junkie in town. But from the beginning of 2015 to like halfway 2015, I was not the biggest junkie in town. And it went for probably within like the last 3 months of 2015, ruined my life. So, I'm like looking at the camera because right now I'm looking at you, but I'm looking at the camera, but I'm looking at myself, so that's why I'm looking up here. So, there was a time in 2015 that somebody that I was hanging out with had got meth from somebody, and I must have like not had anything to do in like drug wise, so I said, yes, let's get some. And I did it, and I said, I will never do this drug again. It felt too good, and that is why I said I would never do it again. And I didn't for a couple months, until I did. So when I'm talking about the worst part of my drug addiction, like the absolute worst is meth. Is when I started doing meth. So, okay, and remind you, my whole life I said I would never shoot up, and I would never do meth. And I did both. So, what got me onto the meth was me finally feeling like I had freedom in my life. And I could do whatever I wanted, hang out with whoever I wanted, blah, blah, blah. So, but at the time, I was a CNA. I worked full time. I took care of my son. Like, I was, finally making moves for myself. And I always say this, like, I got my CNA at the worst part of my life. Like, I ruined that. I blew that, all that hard work. So, I started hanging out around people that did meth, which led me to do meth all day, every day. And I will admit, well, not even admit, like, I will say, like, I had my son in places that he should have never been. Me at the time, I thought, like, well, I'm not doing it in front of him, so, and he's not seeing it, so, like, it's okay. Me now, that's, like, it's insane, and I would never, ever do that, and I would never condone it for anybody, so, yeah, I would bring him, like, because I thought, like, I was a single mom, so I brought him everywhere with me, like, I was taking care of him, blah, blah, blah. But no, I should have did the right thing and gave him to my mother, or just somebody where he wasn't around that, because I couldn't get my shit together. So I was hanging out with people that did meth, so that led me to do it all day, every day. And then I stopped hanging out with the people that had not got me into the meth, but the reason why I was doing it. Like, I started doing it with them people, and now we went our separate ways. And then it was just me. And a lot of people would come to me for it, and I didn't have it, but I knew how to make it. So I had started making meth. And like, from the time that I started doing meth, from the time like I started doing it, a month later I was making it, and a month later I was arrested for manufacturing. So like, my time on meth was very short, but it ruined my entire life. It blew everything up in my life. So yeah, I didn't have any, but I knew how to make it. So I knew other people that could. So like, I would be the middleman. Like, you bring me the Sudafed and come back in a couple hours and you'll have the meth. And one of the people that would come to me all the time to do that, we ended up hanging out all the time, and we would get high together. And I'm not going to say no names or how our relationship, like if we were friends, like I'm not going to say any of that. It's just a person. And that person was there through the worst time of my drug addiction. With this person, I was homeless. Oh man, it was just bad. So after getting when I was the middleman, I'd get the Sudafed, and then they'd come back later, get the meth. I just was learning, and then this person that I was hanging out with, then me and that person had teamed up, and now we were making it. And like, in our minds, like, we're cool, you know what I mean? Like, we got it all, but little by little, no one wanted to be around us. We lost, all of our friends, all of our whatever. But like, when I say we lost all of our friends, like, it wasn't anybody better than us, like, they were all drug addicts too. And we would always hang out at this one spot, and then they ended up, these people lost their spot. So I had went back to my mom's, and then this person or these people went to another town, and we couldn't hang out and we couldn't see each other anymore. So someone had hit me up wanting meth, someone had hit me up wanting ingredients to make meth. They wanted me to buy the ingredients, and then give them to the person. And I did that. And this person that wanted me to do that had a house of their own. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to get you the ingredients, but I want to come hang out. I want me and my friend to come hang out. So I ended up hanging out there for a week. And I mean, probably didn't even know it was a week, because I was tweaked out of my mind. And I thought, like, well, you don't know what you're doing. Let me make it. So that's when I actually got into like making the meth. And then a couple days go by, and the police are banging on the door. No, the landlord was banging on the door. After a couple bangs, and like, I'm running through the house like, oh my god, the landlord's here, and I'm in the bathroom doing my makeup, knowing damn well they're down in the basement making meth. And the landlord didn't need to be let in. He had his own key. It was his fucking property. So the landlord's running through the house with his partner on the phone, like, you need to call the police station, they're making meth in here. So I left the house. Everybody left the house. We all went our separate ways. Me and someone else ended up there was 4 of us. Me and someone else ended up getting picked up and arrested. I did 30 days in jail, 45 days in jail, and I was out on ROR. And I really thought about it in jail, and like, I wanted to get my shit together. I signed up for drug and alcohol on my own. Like, I wanted to just everyone to see like that was just a phase in my life, and I was doing better. And that only lasted 2 weeks. I hooked back up with this person that I was with before, and it was off to the fucking races, I guess, as soon as I came in contact with this person. But remind you, now at this point that we have all been arrested, nobody, absolutely nobody wants us near each other or around anybody else. So we had this smart idea to go on the run because we had court coming up because we were released because we weren't indicted. Well, we had got indicted and now we're going back to jail. So we had went on the run, and we had this great plan to go to Binghamton, which is like the next city over. It's like 40 miles from where we live. Great plan with no money, no clothes, no car, no food, no nothing. So we stay at somebody's house. They can tolerate us for a week, let's say. But this person was also a drug addict, so we were making meth and while getting high together. Well, when all the drugs and the fun ran out, we got kicked out. So now, and me, like, I'm whatever, but like, I am, if I'm, and it sounds shitty, but when I wasn't high, I was in my reality and I wanted to go home and I miss my mom and I miss my son and I wanted it to end. So who I'm hanging out with never wants me to not be high because I want to go home. So I'm in Binghamton, and like I said, no food, no money, no job, no car, no clothes, no nothing. I'm just homeless in the middle of summer, kicked out from where I was staying, and now I need somewhere to go because I can't go back to my town. I can't. My mom will not have no, and like, my mom has always been there for me, but now my mom is not there for me. The only contact she will have with me is if she's coming to get me and bringing me to the police station. That's it. That's the only contact she will have with me, as in physically seeing me. So I just find an abandoned building, an abandoned house, and start sleeping in it. And in my eyes, I like at the time I thought that was cool, you know, like I got my own house. Stealing from stores for food, but if I had drugs, I didn't really care to eat. You know what I mean? Like I didn't care. Stealing from the store every day for new underwear, not really new clothes unless I could, but I would always get new underwear and socks because I had a pair of sandals. And what during the time in this abandoned house was the time in my life where I experienced the most domestic violence I have ever experienced in my whole lifetime. Like I almost died in that house from being beat. I did drugs that I did not even know what the fuck it was because I made it with cheap supplies that I thought, well, I don't have that. That's too expensive. I can't steal that, so let's put this shit from under the bathroom sink in there. Like, foul shit that is just to any human being, you would be like, what the fuck? Like, in the house, it's an abandoned house. There was a bed in a room. The house was trash. It was filthy. It was in the dirtiest street of Binghamton. It was just filthy. But there was a bed in a room, so I slept in the bed every night. Come to find out, 4 months later, I now have scabies that I've had for months because it takes so long for them to show up that I've had scabies all this fucking time from sleeping in its disgusting house. So there was no running water, I didn't have no makeup. It was, if you see me back in them days, like, you wouldn't even know who I was. I was 100 pounds. It was sickening. But to me, I thought I looked good. You know, not at this point, like, I knew this was my rock bottom. Like, this is the worst I've ever experienced. Like, and why isn't it enough? Like, why don't I just stop? Like, why don't I just go to jail and do however long a time? Like, I went on the run because I thought I was going to prison. It's no reason or no excuse to go on the run, but at my mind frame then, like, I didn't want to go to prison. I wanted to hold it off as long as I could. So there's no running water in the house, no nothing. So where am I going to the bathroom? So it was an upstairs, downstairs, like, apartment house. So I would go up the stairs. Mind you, there's like shit. I'm like, who knows? Like, the copper and lighting has already been tore out of this house because people in Binghamton were clipping it and selling it, you know? So I would pee on the living room floor. I would go upstairs and go to the bathroom and then go back downstairs to sleep in the closet where there was a bed. It's disgusting. Okay, don't judge me. This shit was years ago and I would never do it now. I would shit on the floor, I would piss on the floor, throw tampons on the floor. I put two arms of a chair together, two of them, put my ass right in the middle, and I would shit. I don't know. I see a lot now, but back then, like, I thought that what I had was real, and like I was gonna be with this person forever. But like I see now, like, it's humiliating. Like, it is just I don't even know what word to explain it. I was treated like a fucking animal, like a dog. But I mean, that was my life back then, so I didn't know my worth, and that is exactly what I thought I was worth. So I'm in this house, like, just paranoid out of my mind every single day. I was in Binghamton for about a month in that abandoned building, about like 2 weeks. Did not shower from the time I was in that abandoned building. Did not have one shower. Ate food from the dollar store, whatever I could fit in my pockets. Just, stealing, like, doing what you gotta do to survive as a drug addict. At your rock bottom. Try and find people that could. Well, I did shower once. I met this couple, and I did take a shower, but like, how embarrassing, like. But this video is about like my rock bottom, pretty much. And that was it for me. Like, I was just sick of walking around town in Binghamton like a fucking bag of bones with fucking, if it wasn't bruises from track marks, it was bruises on my eyes from being beat, or all over my body, with a broken nose and broken ribs. Like, just, I'm sure when people looked at me, they probably thought I was a prostitute. Like, that's just how I looked. Like, just disgusting and taken advantage of and worn down and just beat and nasty. I would walk to this corner store every day. Like, I would come up with money for a Lucy. Like, because I smoked cigarettes back then. But mind you, like, there was like 3 times before this final phone call to my mom that I had tried to run to that store to call my mom to come and get me, because I thought I was gonna die. I thought I was gonna die in that house and that no one would ever find me. So, I made it to, I went to the corner store and called my mom and said, like, I'm ready, can you come get me? But I don't know. My mom said, I will pick you up and I won't pick the person you're with up. And I said, please, Mom, please. I will turn myself in a couple days. Just let me go to town. She's heard it. She's heard it for years. So, no, she wasn't going to come get me if I wasn't going to turn myself in. She said that she would have let me spend some time with Timothy, like minutes, and then she would drive me to the jail. And I said no. So I called one of my friends. I asked her if she would come and get me. She said, yes, I will pick you both up. You are going to stay with me until you turn yourself in, and I'm dropping that person off with his family. I said, okay, that's fine. I knew, like, I could cheat my way out of it. Like, that's fine. Just please come get me. I had nothing, like, at this point, there's so many people in Binghamton that want to beat us up. Like, that, like, I'm scared. So I waited at the closest McDonald's, and this friend, she did show up. And I was with her. She took me to my house to pick up some clothes. I had to hide from Timothy because he didn't see me in so long. So I had to hide from him in the back seat while she went in my mom's house to get me clothes, because I just couldn't let him see me, because he would see me and I would leave again, and it wasn't fair to him. So yeah, a couple days went by. That person was with their family, and I was with her, and then I was with her. And when she was sleeping one night, I picked up the phone and called this person and said, like, I'm in this. This is where I am. Please come get me. Like, I'll get my stuff and leave. She can't know. I went with that person, and the next morning, this person had called the sheriffs and said, this is where we are. I want to be picked up. We're on the run. I don't want to run anymore. This person called, not me. But his motive, the motive of the call wasn't because, like, I want to turn myself in. It was because he did not want us separated outside, out in the town any longer. If we couldn't be together and sleep together every single night, then we were going to jail. And he called the cops, and we got picked up. Thank God that happened. And at the time, I was so mad. I was so angry. Like, I did not want to go. But thank God, like, I got separated from that, all the toxic in my life. And since I went to jail, I did months in jail, and then I got out in drug court. I passed drug court. I'm still on probation. I've relapsed once since then, and not on meth. It's going on 4 years that I've touched meth. And so yeah, that is the story, the basic story of my rock bottom, my worst time during my drug addiction. This video is supposed to be like 8 minutes shorter, but it is what it is. So, I don't know. I've been clean. Like, me and Cass have been together since I've been out of jail. It's been years now. And we just have this amazing life. Whatever video that you want us to do, let us know and we'll do it. If anyone needs to talk to anyone or has questions or needs help, we're always here. So I'm going to end this video. And yeah, I'll see you next time.